watching Septum Sen versus the World. I'm Septum Sen. I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we are working to try and make sure you are informed about the events of the nation, plus show you what we've loaded up on in our various, through our voracious media appetites.
Yes.
And we'll show you what has satisfied us through the weeks.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we're going to change up the format. We're going to combine the vlogging and this again as it was in the past. We're just going to take a few highlighted stories from the week that we thought were particularly high, and then we're also going to do some death news. But we're going to start with the deaths because that's dark news, and I'd rather us end on the light stuff, which is the pickups. Yeah. That's always the fun stuff, we're getting stuff.
Yeah, and for in some ways the death notices, at least they're light this week. There's some big ones, but they were pretty light overall. Mm-hmm. But there were a couple of notable ones, and I figured it was worth a mention. He had edited a video last week after the fact to mention that the former First Lady Barbara Bush had indeed passed away at 92. But I figured that's worth a mention. She was the wife and mother of presidents. She's only one of two that have ever had that distinction. Yeah. So that's very impressive. And it's also impressive for the little minor news blur. I think you might have seen the picture from the funeral that's making the round on the news, which obviously Trump was missing, and the Carters were missing. In all fairness,
but his wife was there.
But to see it, yes, to see Melania, the surviving Bush the younger, and his wife, the Clintons and the Obamas all together. Pleasantly.
Yeah.
It's nice to see something like that nowadays, Mm-hmm. And I do believe I'd read that Miss Carter is ill, so she had a very good excuse for not being there. But at any rate, so that was one of the big ones. And almost immediately after we recorded last week, I found a notice that I found was unfortunate. Harry Anderson, star of the show Night Court and also the show Dave's World, bit player who's been in a lot of stuff. I knew him mainly as Harry the Hat Giddis in Cheers. Two-timing con man that showed up in about 6 or 7 episodes before Sam kicked him out of the bar, except for the episode where Sam went to him for help, which was a fun episode. I enjoyed that. So he was a pretty good actor, and he always seemed like a pretty good guy. He was 65. I
don't know. My friend really... I had my best friend in high school loved Night Court. That was his favorite show.
I saw bits and pieces, but I did see the episode of 30 Rock where they all came back playing those characters. So that was pretty fun. So I'm not trying to bogart all of them. Did you want to hit any of the...
well, you got
I will have to do that one.
Well, go ahead and get...
I just found out about this. It was the next day and almost the same age. This seems to happen a lot. But one of my... musician that I have tremendous respect for, very, 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 very gifted, multi-hyphenate musician, producer, singer, Randy Scruggs, the son of Earl Scruggs, passed away at 64. And... that was a surprise. I don't even know if they said what it was from.
Well, I hadn't heard about it at all.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it at all.
I heard about Harry Anderson, but
right. I get the IMDb news feed and the A&N news feed, but I miss a lot of musicians because of that. But one musician I did catch, Swedish, I believe. Yeah. Electronica musician Avicii. 28.
Very young.
Very.
But they live
young.
Fast. They die young. Or party hard. Whatever they do.
I can't say I know his music very well, but that seemed like worth a note. And then I'll let you go ahead and grab those two.
No, I get the last one.
Okay.
You might. Do you? If you probably know more about that one than I do.
Oh, well, we'll go ahead and say another big, probably as much or more than Harry Anderson, probably the one most people would recognize the name from Hollywood news, Vern Troyer, Mini-Me from the Austin Powers series. Also had a lot of other bit roles in various films, Harry Potter series and whatnot. He's 49. So he had a pretty good age, but still, that was a kind of a shock to read that. So,
then last in the list, the oldest living person on the planet died at 117 years old.
Yeah.
His name was Nabi Tajima. He actually was, according to what they say, he was 14 at the start of World War One. Now, he's the last person born in the 19th century, which you'd have to be to have been 14 at the start of World War One. But to think about it this way, you were at an age where you can remember what it was like to go through World War One, the Great Depression, the Roaring Twenties also.
Well,
Japan
in Japan, I'm not sure they would have,
Yeah, but
they had their own things going on. But World War One and World War Two,
Then, of course, they'd have all these other things. The Korean War, which Japan was very involved with. China's communist thing with Mao. All of this stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that you've lived through all of this amount of history.
Korean War.
Yeah, well said. It's it's a really sad thing in a way when
you
see
say
that.
No,
I did say
attention.
that.
I'm sorry.
Did we mention the Korean War?
I may have heard something about that.
But yes, any case,
but that'll segue into something a little, I guess, more lighthearted, right?
Yep. So let's go into just. What we'll do is we'll go into our news for this site, then we'll go into anything newsworthy that's happening around, any sales we've heard of, and then we can go ahead into what we've been watching and what we've picked up.
Okay.
So as far as site news, next week we're going to be taking our filming time and we're going to sit down and edit, because the way I look at it is I can edit, but I don't want to screw up the videos that that you've put up. So we're gonna hunker down. We're gonna edit those, and next week you're going to Kotobuki Jake is taking over the channel. We'll do a brief video also for the new releases as per usual, because that takes like 5 minutes for us to do, and then we'll go back to the schedule as usual for the following week.
Okay.
I know that Rebel Gaming Club is working with us on a project, which is good, and I'm saving up some of my game pickups for that. Though you'll see a few of them because they have stacked up lately. I'm getting a lot of cheap ones lately, and I'm also doing a collaboration with Inside Movies Galore. I did a review for their channel, and that is up. I may or may not remember to put it in the link below. But check out their channel. They are a growing channel, much like ours. We're about even when it comes to subscriber count, so we're trying to combine forces a little bit, move forward. Hopefully this week we're also going to do another collaboration for a film review, and they're very good. Eventually, when you get yourself together, you got to get in on those discussions that they do. They do some very insightful discussions about movies. This time we're doing Peter Benchley's The Beast, which is already passed by the time that you see this video, but will be up this past Tuesday. So check it out on their site. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure it's going to be enjoyable.
It was an interesting book. I cannot for the life of me remember if I saw the movie.
Well, it's a miniseries, so...
Yeah, I cannot for the life of me remember.
We're both having some memory trouble today. So, Other than that, do you have any news as far as for here that we haven't covered?
Well, as far as channels in general, the videos that we're going to work on are by the time they go up, they're not going to be the freshest videos in the world, but they'll still be pretty fun. But I don't have any new ones in the queue, nor do I for my own channel, because my phone is no more.
Yep.
And I don't know how long it'll be before I can replace it. So that is very annoying on many levels. Very annoying. Hopefully soon. It just happened to coincide with my paying a ton of taxes and all this other stuff. But hopefully very soon there will be the... But one thing I was hoping to use my camera for this coming weekend, I will go ahead and put out another plug for this weekend, is the City Nature Challenge. Get out, look at your local wildlife, and see what there is to see. They're encouraging people to use an app called iNaturalist, which helps to ID but also to document. So that might be a lot of fun. Get your friends together, go out, have a good time with that.
Well, actually, I was doing my part for the planet. Earth Day, actually, not too long ago passed. Whereas the mowing my lawn is not exactly helping the planet, but at the same time, I mowed with an electric lawnmower. So I'm not using fossil fuels when I'm doing that. And it's a very limited scope of grass out front. Right.
And also, geez, I just had something. Yeah, whatever. If it comes to me, it'll come to me.
Okay, so I guess we go into regular news. You said you had a few items that you'd heard of. I haven't been keeping up as much.
As far as the news items? Well, there was the one, I don't remember the actress's name, though. You know Smallville better than I do, right?
I have never seen an episode. I know what it's about.
Do you remember? Jeez, okay, I don't remember the name.
It's about Superman.
But a Smallville actress, what was her name? But she got sent up on sex trafficking charges. And I'm sorry, it's not funny, but on the other hand, the idea that a Smallville actress, she apparently was involved with a cult. That stuck out to me as one of the weirdest news items of the week.
Smallville. Let's see here. Allison Mack.
Yes, Allison Mack. That's it. Yeah, man. And then, of course, you got your general, usual news of the world. The big thing today, I guess, is the Toronto. Did you hear that? No. Dude in a van went down the sidewalk in Toronto and killed a bunch of people.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking media news. I don't know anything about coming up.
No, media news. There wasn't a whole lot. There was a release thing I saw that looked interesting. Oh, yeah. This is a big media release thing. Animego's putting out a standard edition of Bubblegum Crisis. Did you see that?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I might finally get it. Because I wasn't paying for that. Yeah, Animego did a Kickstarter-funded re-release of Bubblegum Crisis on Blu-ray, 2 years ago? A year ago? But it was a big, fancy thing, and this is going to be a more stripped-down release.
This one, or is it this one?
Oh, no, the original. I need to get Tokyo 2040 because my copy died, but I never did have the original. This, of course, if you're at all familiar with your, late 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
that's a fancy set he's got.
There are many different editions of it, and that's one of them.
Yeah, but this is going to be. I'm excited that I might finally be able to get this one in my collection. I had Tokyo 2040, which I really liked that, but it was not a pretty set when I got it. And then we had the whole mold scare, and I wrote off certain things, and that was one of them. So, yeah, unfortunately. So
not the way you want to be thinning your collection.
That was the main media release thing. I think I saw Sentai's licensed a couple more things, Funimation has, but nothing really extraordinary there.
I have one sale news item, but that's about it. Funimation is running a decent sale this week, and I will have some pickups from that sale.
Oh, that's what I was going to mention. Okay, sale item. I was at Best Buy a couple days ago, and they're running, I guess you could call it an Earth Day sale, but most of their nature stuff, like Frozen Planet and all those, they're like $10 for some of those, and some of the others are more expensive, like the Planet Earth ones and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good opportunity to get some of them at a lower than usual price, so that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find $10 price for the phone I was looking for, but that would have been nice.
See, I actually picked up a new phone this week, which is it's a nice little phone. It's though I did turn in my old phone to add to this. It's a Note 8.
Yeah.
Because mine was also dying on me. It was actually freezing on numbers and dialing out when it shouldn't be dialing out. It was not being happy with me.
The dude that I talked to who told me my phone was dead was said that notes were really good. So actually,
except for the 7. It catches fire.
Oh, we don't want that. So I'm looking at probably about a Note 5 or 6 or a Samsung Galaxy S7 would probably be. So by all means, if you have experience with them, leave comments. Let us know which one. But that's probably it for me for that. If we want to do the viewing, what we've done.
You go right ahead.
Okay. I have knocked out a couple movies this week. Notably, I somehow never got around to the 2 war movies that Clint Eastwood put out simultaneously a few years back, Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima. I did watch Flags of Our Fathers last night. It's pretty good. I was impressed. I was feeling a little narcoleptic, so I probably missed about 5 minutes of it, but that unfortunately has happened a lot lately. But it was pretty good, and I can't wait to see Iwo Jima this week. And then the other movies, I got to revisit a film from my childhood. Saw Honey, I Shrunk the Kids for the first time in who knows how long.
Oh, it was a good film. Classic.
It is. It is a classic. It was better than I remembered, actually. But it's like the opening credit sequence starts up, and I was like, oh my god, I've forgotten how 80s the credit sequence is.
But yeah, that one was... The other two were not so much, but that one in particular was a... It's not only a classic overall, but it does... I mean, Rick Moranis, excellent actor.
And the other one I do want to mention that I saw this week... really good Danish film from a few years back. I've probably mentioned on this channel before that I have seen that I'm a very big booster for Tobias Lindholm's film Krigen, which the American title was A War. But he's put out a couple other films where they simply call it, A something or other. And I don't remember the original title of this one, but last week I watched A Hijacking, which basically is about a merchant vessel that gets hijacked by Somali pirates. Just happened, I think it came out about the same year as Captain Phillips, which is kind of weird.
I remember that.
But
they do that.
And it co-stars Pilo Eisbeck, who starred in A War, and who also starred in last year's unfortunate attempt at Ghost in the Shell. But I think he's a pretty cool actor. But it was a really good movie, and it was worth seeing, and I look forward to more from this director and from the actor. And my last notable one is that I'm almost at the halfway point, talking about Ghost in the Shell, almost at the halfway point for second gig, and almost at the halfway point for Nadia, Secret of Blue Water. I'm right there with both of them.
See, then that one, I was very disappointed that the tanks didn't have as big a role, in my opinion. I thought that the tanks were probably the most entertaining part, especially the little shorts. That
they still have the tachychromatic days on each episode, but they're pretty short episodes. Yeah.
They used to have much more of a focus, and they were very entertaining. But they did have an integral role to the plot towards the end of the first season. So, I felt like it fell a little bit by the wayside, which is why there's not a third season.
Could be.
So... With that being said, I mean, I didn't get a lot done. I've been trying to work on a few titles. It seems like every time I turn around, I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this. And mostly it's YouTube stuff and clips from stuff. And then I gotta work in between. But I did watch Deathpool, as noted by Monday's review. And it was an easy one to watch all the way through because there's not many special features on it. I also watched Peter Benchley's The Beast, again, for the Tuesday discussion. And I have watched a couple of other things. Not really of note. The one I'm working on right now is the Mahoshi special with the Pretty Sammy episodes for the Tenchi Muyo, which is OVA that is out of print. I got it for a decent deal, and now I'm watching it to make sure it's okay. But it's sad. It's a 5 episodes total, and I think I've gotten 3 episodes down. It's just been that busy at work and at home, so I haven't been able to watch much more than that. That's pretty much been what I've been up to. I haven't gotten to do as much this time around. There are things I wanted to see.
Right.
I still want to see it. A Shape of Water, is that it?
Oh man, you got me saying that. The Shape of Water.
I need to see. I need to see Star Wars. I need to see Justice League, and I've got them sitting back here.
I might have a good excuse to do some Star Wars viewing soon. But we'll get to that hopefully next week. But and then of course we have some big viewing coming up this week with our big movie coming out.
Yeah, I wish I could see it on release week, but our tickets are for the week after because they're sold out where I'm going. We're going Thursday or something like that.
Wait, we're not going release week?
I can't get to release week on that one.
Then why the hell did you buy tickets for Thursday?
Well, what they did is, according to what I was told, it was originally set for 1 week and they moved it up.
Oh.
So then by the time we got to where it was moved up, it was sold out everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could see it on that week. We had it planned. I have tickets for...
Of course, we're talking about Infinity War, in case you didn't guess that.
Yeah, that was the original plan. I had things taken off. I had the day taken off for work, and then, bam.
Bam.
But still. So, not this week, but next week.
Oh, okay.
So it's not going to be... We're not talking
so it's not this week.
Oh, this weekend is the weekend that it debuts.
Okay, so it is next week.
Yeah, because again, they push it back a week. So it was supposed to be that first week of May, that first Thursday in May, but then...
Yeah. Oh, well.
But that's what we're hoping for anyway. So I guess let's get into pickups.
Okay.
I actually only got 2 items from the Funimation sale, so I will start with those actually. And that is Gosick, Part 1 and Part 2. They had it down to I think $23, $24 a volume.
Really?
Which I wanted. So
damn it! I didn't. It's probably good I didn't see that.
It's still going on, but it is a. I ended up overspending for that sale, but y'all will see more of that, I'm sure, as time goes on. This is the only thing that's arrived, but I've been wanting this for a while.
Yeah, I want that one too.
It's a very well done series, very well written series. I hate that they released it in 2 parts. And it's finally to a price point that I'm willing to spend it.
Right.
But, you know, I like the art style they have on the covers, and they do a pretty good job with it. And, again, very well-crafted story, sort of a mystery slash romance slash kind of black magic type stuff going on. So, yeah, rather cool.
Good times. All right. So, I'm going to get to... I'm reaching back with this first one back to the Christmas sales. And this is... I presented one of these before. I'm going to present another one. Kind of cheating. But Walmart had their 4-pack bundles on Black Friday and post-Black Friday. And this is a so-called sci-fi 4-film pack, which is 4 films on Blu-ray for $10. It's pretty sweet. But I already have Gravity, so we'll just skip it. But even then, even then, that makes $3.33 per volume. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Of course, the first one, some people would claim I'm overpaying for it. One of the more maligned movies of the last few years. But I do want to see it. And if nothing else, with the cast and the pedigree, it's worth having. But I got Jupiter Ascending with Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis. It's by the Wachowski siblings. Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
Supposedly Eddie Redmayne chews the scenery in this like nobody's business, and Sean Bean's in there. What's up?
Eddie Redmayne, A Theory of Everything, right?
Right.
So watch that back to back.
Actually, I think this was his follow-up to Theory of Everything. You're right. I do have a copy of Theory of Everything waiting to be watched. I have too many of those twofers I want to do. I still want to do a Marty Scorsese twofer with Hugo and The Wolf of Wall Street. Because reasons.
Yeah.
So, the next one is one of the most overrated films of the past few years. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for that. But I am not a huge fan of this series, damn it. But this is multiple Oscar nominee and multiple Oscar winner, Mad Max Fury Road, which they do selling separately in that same sale for like $6. So, you know.
Well, there's three words behind why it was so talked up. Strong female protagonist.
Well, yeah, that. And then there's also people get, for whatever reason, are obsessed with Mad Max.
He wasn't in
and
it
George
that much.
Miller. Well, the franchise. People love the franchise. And again, George Miller got so much praise for this. Mm-hmm. It was like a labor of love for him. And I give the man props for having a vision and carrying it through. I mean, you got some good people in there in general. But yeah, Charlize Theron is one of the main people in there. Yeah, it's some other good female casts like Zoe Kravitz is in there, you know. But also Tom Hardy and Nicholas Hoult. So, you know, rounding out things. I kind of liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it better than the old Mad Max, which, again, might invite some ire from some people. But I didn't see why it got so many Oscar nominations. What was it, like 10, 11?
Oh, I got a ton.
So many nominations, but
it's a combining factor, but it's got praise a lot of it because of that.
Definitely worth $3.33.
Oh yeah, well definitely.
Not to mention I got to see it in theaters for free, so that's kind of my expenditure wasn't that great.
See, Mad Max was not a. To me, Mad Max has a classic representation in my mind because that was nostalgia.
Yeah, well, it was for some people. Yeah.
The first film, I disliked the first film. It's incomplete. The narrative's kind of. The second film, a lot of people love. Mm-hmm. Which that's the one when you talk about Mad Max and people say they love Mad Max, they're not talking about the first film. They're not talking about the third film. They're talking about Road Warrior. That's what they're talking about. Me, I think Road Warrior is overrated. So there you go, inviting my own.
A lot of these pieces of the 80s, if you didn't get into them in the 80s, you come back to it and you're like, eh.
Road Warrior was a decent action film. But for me, it was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. And which is, by the way, one of the least liked in the series. Right. But to me, it has excellent music, wonderful, brilliant musical score, great environments, and to me, it's just a solid action film with a lot of good elements. And, I mean, shoot, the songs that you get from, on it, really good. We Don't Need Another Hero. That one's that one was very big at the time.
Right. And then the last one I have here actually did get some very positive praise, but not enough to get it to Oscar's attention. But it's one that I'm very interested in. It's called Midnight Special.
Not as good as Mad Max.
And it's got Michael Shannon, Joel Edgerton, Kirsten Dunst, Adam Driver, Sam Shepard. That's a pretty good cast. And I don't know much about it, but I do know that it was one that a lot of the critics praised and said that they really enjoyed it. It has been it was kind of popular for a brief moment at the library. Incidentally, I don't think our library system ever got a copy of this. That's kind of funny. This one was hugely popular. But yeah, so overall, this is a good bundle. I mean, I kind of jokingly skipped Gravity. I actually really liked this. I already had a copy, so I don't need a second. But still, this was a pretty good pickup for $10.
So you either can turn it around. Well, it doesn't go for a ton, but
no, I'll probably just end up giving it to someone.
yeah, that's
if
a good
someone really
Christmas
wants.
gift or something. Especially if you got somebody who's an Oscar collector
Right.
or somebody who likes a lot of classic films. It's very
Right.
good. It's a very good film. I didn't like it as much as many people did, but that's because it was depressing.
Well, yeah, it was kind of depressing. Yeah.
So I've got a video game backlog, as I said, because I've been collecting, which of course is funny because I don't play I'd say 2-3 hours a week. So it kind of makes no sense for me to collect for any video game system. But I have, and I thought I would show a couple of those. So I'm going to bring out the first one of the two that I did put in for this, and that is.
Well, let me just interject. If we were modeling our collecting based on sense and logic,
Yeah. I admit, there is no logic in this. But I got this for $3.
Oh yeah.
Over at Hotspot, which is a very excellent retro game store, and that is Rygar. I dug out my PlayStation 2 the other day and have been playing the Dance Dance Revolution when I can because it's fun. And Rygar was one that I thought was great. The old NES game I really liked, and so I got this, and it is kind of cool. You get to you get to break a lot of the environments, and had excellent boss mechanics, and was generally a solid game. So I do look forward to plugging this back in, and then being disappointed because my nostalgia souped it up.
Yeah. Some things are better left in the past.
But I'll leave it at that unless you had something to say about it. I doubt you had experience with either Rygar.
It does not look familiar at all to me. Yeah. Alright. So next up is another one that I missed, but that should be familiar to quite a few of you, because this was a pretty big title in the late 90s. I think it was late 90s. Does that sound about right? Anyway, my last few are library pickups. From 3 of them are very recent, and one of them is a little bit older.
Good cast.
Yeah. A friend of mine, well, not a friend, but a coworker of mine that we love to talk movies on the very rare occasions. We very rarely work together, but when we do, we have good time. He brought in a whole stack of movies to donate a couple weeks ago and said that I could have first crack at them. And unfortunately, most of them I didn't need. But there was one that I didn't have, that I had no particular care if I got it on DVD or Blu-ray, so I was willing to go ahead and pay $1 for it. And this is a movie that stars Will Smith and Gene Hackman called Enemy of the State. I know this one did not have the strongest critical praise either. In fact, I think the critics hated it. But it has a good cast. I mean, in addition to Will Smith and Hackman, you got Barry Pepper, John Voight, Gabriel Byrne, Regina King, Jake Busey. I mean, that's a pretty good cast. It's a Tony Scott movie produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, so that's probably why the critics loved it so much. But from what I've heard, it should be at least entertaining, and it should definitely be worth $1.
Shoot, seeing Will Smith and Gene Hackman together, that's good enough right there.
And this wasn't long before Hackman retired from acting, so it is one of his last notable roles, I think. Not the last, but one of the last.
Hackman.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Like I said, that's I look forward to finally seeing that one.
Well, those of you who've been paying attention to the channel know that I had recently gotten a hold of a copy of Far Cry 5. Mainly because I was trying to support Rebel Gaming Club, a band that the leader in that group is River City Rebels is on the soundtrack. And so I've been trying to track down all of them. And I do have most of them on the PC, but I can't stand the PC controls. I'm not one of those who's very good with a mouse when it comes to those types of shooters. I know it's supposed to be better. I just get lost and die. So I found the best equivalent for the 360 for the first game, which is Far Cry Instincts Predator. Now this is what they did with the original game is when they adapted it to Xbox, they made it into 2 different games, which had some extensive stories and stuff like that added to it. And that particular thing, I thought really flowed well. I was quite happy with that. I'm very interested in playing this, sinking my teeth into it. As you can tell, it's still sealed. So, have not broken into this yet, but got it at a good price. I also have another Far Cry pickup, which I'll bring in there later on. But suffice to say, I do have the entire collection of them and have yet to play a single one all the way through. Though I have been working on Far Cry 5 a little at a time, which is pretty fun. It is. It's, you go, basically you get dropped into a place and you're in a circumstance there. Far Cry 1 is different than the others because they have some mutant alien critter things in it, which is very different from the rest.
Mutant alien critter things.
So, like the 5th one, you're killing like cultists in a Jim Jones type cult in Montana, and that's pretty cool. But the idea is you're taking back territory. You're doing like the guerrilla terrorist type thing in order to save whatever in general. So, but I've heard the first game is much better is much different than the rest of the series. So
Sounds like it.
Very much worth checking out, and I will be looking forward to it.
Okay.
All right.
Good times.
You got a good one right there.
Well, so I hear. This is another one I haven't seen yet, but like I said, recent library pickup, another $1 purchase. I got Matthew McConaughey's The Lincoln Lawyer, which also you got Michael Pena, John Leguizamo, Ryan Felipe, Marissa Tomei, Bob Gunton, Bryan Cranston, and William H. Macy. I didn't realize all of them were in that. That's kind of cool. And this, of course, is based on a very popular book by Michael Connelly, who, one of those, Grisham, Baldacci, Patterson type writers that people who like him really, really, really like him. I have not yet read a single one of his books, but I need to, if only so that I can talk him with customers. But I do want to see this. I've heard good things about it.
Excellent film.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about this, and seeing Death Pool, which, by the way, is my next one. But I do have an aside that I should have included in things I've watched this week. Death Pool, I did a review for Monday. This is why I'm holding it on. You know how hard it is to find pictures for this darn thing? You know why? Guess what happens when you type in Death Pool to search for pictures? Guess what comes up? What sounds like Death Pool?
Deadpool.
Exactly. So I ended up, it's like, did you mean Deadpool? No! I didn't mean Deadpool. Are you sure you didn't mean Deadpool? No! Well, we're going to show you pictures of Deadpool, because that's obviously what you're trying to find.
Obviously.
But this one's a fun one. I didn't have a lot of high expectations for it going in. I got it because, I actually thought, Sean C. Phillips is in this, a.k.a. Cool Duder, and I like collecting the stuff he's in. Usually he dies in it, but I don't think he dies in this one. This is one of the few films I have after he lost the weight. It's basically about this guy who's traumatized in a swimming pool and is afraid of water. Well, then when he's finally forced to go in the water, he goes on a murder spree and just starts killing everybody.
Oh, obviously.
And that's the way you react to that.
Yeah, clearly.
It's a little bit deeper than that, but check out my review. It's a little bit better picture of this. But
he went into the deep end, that's why.
Yeah, he went off the deep end. But I actually was impressed by this. It's not grade A, but at the same time, for what it is entertaining. The characters are engaging, and the movie actually went by. I was not bored of this movie.
Cool.
And as he knows, that's one of the biggest sins you can do against me with a movie is make me bored of it. So, not bored at all throughout this. If you can find this, it's out of print, pick it up. It's actually worth a good pickup. Also, on the viewing front, just as a since I was reminded, Friday was 420.
Yeah.
Guess what came out on 420 and streaming?
Ooh, Evil Bong.
Exactly. Evil Bong 777, which is what I did as far as the review for Inside Movies Galore. Because though I will get a physical release, and I will do another review on this channel for the physical release, which will update my thoughts on the film, especially with the special features, I did want to go ahead and do a first impressions review. And this is a good excuse to say if it's something that I don't have in my collection, I can then put it up somewhere as a review. It was... I can't really say I was disappointed. I mean, this is an Evil Bong movie.
Yeah, I mean, how high is your bar, really?
It's gotten lower as the series has progressed. Those 666 improved things. The fourth one and the fifth one were... I mean, not good. And so the bar just kept going...
Yeah, I've only seen the first three, and I have to admit, you talk about boredom. I was bored by the second one.
The second one was kind of aimlessness that they wander around the jungle.
It was okay. It was kind of aimless is a good way to put it.
The first movie
was great.
Unforgettable. It was just an excellent movie. The fourth and fifth movie is them just basically hanging around a location all day because I guess they can't afford to film in different locations.
I guess.
And 666 changed that up a little bit, changed up the formula, and I thought they did pretty well. I mean, they went to Sexy Hell, which was pretty entertaining. And
Sexy Hell.
The seventh movie is the follow-up to that,
Okay.
but just the ending is so abrupt. So go on to Movies Galore, tell them that we recommended you buy there, and check out their other videos, but check out my review of Evil Bong 777, and it was entertaining, but it ended like, I mean, it's 50 minutes, and they just, it's just like, you know, they turn a corner, they see somebody, and okay, it's off. Guess we'll have to wait for Evil Bong 8.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll like turn it on its side and call it Evil Bong Infinity.
They probably will do something weird like that.
You know,
Yeah. All right.
Lady
So,
Eights.
a very, very different movie.
An Evil Bong?
You talk about 50-minute movie with a shoestring budget about a bunch of stoners, and to a 2.5-hour movie about women in a prison camp in World War II.
No, same thing.
But this is a film I actually have seen, and I thought a lot of it the first time I saw it. It's been a few years, but it's a movie called Paradise Road. But I mean, it stars Glenn Close, Frances McDormand, and Juliana Margulies. So you know right there, that's a pretty good cast. Kate Blanchett's in there, Jennifer Ely. It's basically like it's Bruce Beresford directed. And like I said, it basically is about a bunch of women who were in a Japanese internment camp, World War II. I don't remember a whole lot more about it than that. Just that I was very impressed by it the first time I saw it. And when I found it at the library for $1, I was like, hells yeah, I'm getting this. So that is I think that's one of my higher level pickups for the week. But you'll notice a theme here. This week I'm very much on a shoestring budget with my pickups. That will probably not be the case with next week.
And many of my films were created with a shoestring budget. So.
Yes. Possibly also with the aid of a shoestring.
Possibly. Well, maybe in this one. Little garrote there. Homemade. So, my last one is one I've already mentioned. Again, I wanted to get the ones I've watched out of the way here. We're going to be covering this. It's been covered, I guess you could say, which is The Beast. You've read the book, I've seen the movie, so we're hit together there. And of course, the man here, he's famous for writing the novel that was used for Jaws, I believe.
Yes, Peter
And
Benchley did write
so,
Jaws. I
another
think I
monster
did see
movie.
that series. Now that I think about it,
It's one that came out like it was on mainstream. It was on
Really?
NBC.
wasn't it
So
like early '90s?
yeah, it was
I feel like it came out around the time I read the book.
renewed in 96.
Yeah, yeah. So that would have been exactly right about the time, because when I was in about ninth and 10th grade, I did count Peter Benchley as one of my favorite writers. I read The Jaws, I read The Beast, I read The Deep, which is a really good 1970s film with Nick Nolte. And I think I read another one. Strangely enough, almost none of his stuff's in the library. I don't know why. But, yeah, I think I did see that. Who's the cast? Charles Martin Smith, William Peters. William Peterson's in that?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
It's
Interesting.
It's actually a fairly good one. It's
Yeah.
it's about 3 hours total,
Yeah.
and it's done in 2 parts. And
It's about a squid.
it's about a killer giant squid, much like Jaws. Actually, worse than Jaws
Yeah.
is the fact that the killer squid acts very unlike what a real squid would act.
Yes.
I mean,
Very much unlike.
It has like a scene where it's attacking a dog on land,
Yeah.
which is okay. Well,
I think that was in the book. I don't remember.
but
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe they did better in the books, but I just
I
like
don't
I thought
know.
to myself, okay, well, he's-
Jaws is a really good book. I mean, it's a great movie. I mean, Spielberg,
Well,
it's a classic movie.
the great
But
thing
the
about
book-
Jaws was
yeah.
that you didn't have is when you didn't see the shark for
Yeah.
most of it. It was the concept of the shark being
Right.
there that really sold it,
Yeah.
which got ruined in the sequels.
Among other things. I mean, I like Jaws too, and I kind of like Jaws: The Revenge. I know a lot of people would go, "What?" But I hated Jaws 3. I've always hated it. Ugh. But anyway, is that you're good on that one?
That is my.
And I will have to get that one of these days.
This one bag
Hey,
was less
yeah.
than $10.
Nice. So this last one actually cost $2 because I bought it from another branch.
Yeah.
And I don't know why our branch is so much cheaper than the others, but it's fine with me. But I actually bought this from one of the other branches 3 months ago, I think. And it's a movie that, got a lot of critical praise when it came out. Didn't really do much with the big awards, but the critics loved it. And I saw it 3 or 4 years ago, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But it's called The Notorious Betty Page. And, of course, it's about the pinup model, Betty Page, from way back in the day. And she's played by Gretchen Mol, who, this is one of her earlier starring roles. She's had a lot of supporting roles, but relatively few that put her front and center. And this is one of the big ones. And it's a rather different role right now. I mean, she's still... Another thing I watched this week was more episodes of Boardwalk Empire.
Oh.
And, of course, she has a recurring role as a totally... At this point, she is delusional and addicted to heroin. And it's just... Oh, man, that character needs to go. But anyway...
Yeah.
But Chris Bauer's in there, Jared Harris, David Strathairn. He's always good. And so, yeah, this is a pretty interesting movie. I was kind of expecting more, but I think I waited 15 years to see it after its release. 10 years, So there was plenty of time for that expectation to be dashed a little bit. But still, this is a good movie, and I was very happy to get it for the price I did. Especially when you find movies like this. This one, too, these are not the commonest movies.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah.
Lincoln
So,
Lawyer
yeah.
is common.
Oh,
but,
yeah, you can get that in any old place. But, yeah, so that was a cool pickup there. Yeah.
I need to get out
Okay.
and do some hunting.
Yeah.
We should do that one day.
Yeah.
We should just we should say, on a Monday, we're just like, hey, you know what? We're going to go hunting. And go to Second and Charles
Hunting, we
or
will go-
something like
We
that.
still need to get that promotional.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that.
Yep.
So, with that being said,
Mhm.
let us know what you think about us switching up the format a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like our videos, share, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next one.